We're going to go over the Nautilus by Stebel air horn. This is a mini compact air horn. We're going to put this on a motorcycle. I'm going to stick it on a 2018 Kawasaki Vulcan Voyager. I want to go over with you first of all the pieces and parts that came with this. And we're going to do a table mock-up so we know what's going to go with it, if we need any extra pieces, and then we're going to fit it on the bike. First thing I did notice is when it came in the package, it came with this little floppy piece of instructions. These instructions look really confusing, really hard to read. Looks like there's 3 or 4 different ways of mounting it and wiring it, which is going to be confusing. So I'm going to go over it. We're going to try to find the best way of doing it. First part we have is, of course, the compressors over here. The air horn itself is right here. It's got a little blow-off valve on the side of it here. One of the direction pieces show it having a fresh air hose coming off of here, but it did not come with the hose. Came with a little piece of felt, which is probably to keep it from vibrating or scratching something. It came with a relay module, bolt, a nut, and a random piece of plastic that's not cut very well. So let's go over it and try to figure out where everything goes, and then we're going to try to mount it up. Obviously this bolt goes in right here. There's a flat groove in the back to catch it. Nut's going to go in the front of it, and my guess is that's so you can mount it somewhere upright, because it does show it going upright or in an upright position on the motorcycle somewhere. That'll keep the water and stuff off of your connections, which are on the bottom of it here. Looks like we've got a positive and negative. Ground is probably going to go somewhere onto the chassis. We're going to ground it out. The relay module, if you're looking at the relay with a flat module, this one's going to come from your battery. This is going to be your positive from the battery. This is going to be your horn, positive and negative on the left and right side. And then this is going to be the horn output. So basically we're going to take the old horn wires, we're going to take the positive here, the negative here, positive out here. So when you push the button, the power comes out of this, and since the horn's going to be grounded somewhere else, it won't matter. And again, this is going to be the relay, so it powers up the compressor. Okay, going over their instruction manual here, which is, again, hard to read, but that's what I'm doing this video for. The first thing we're going to need is we're going to need an inline fuse. So we're going to have to come off our battery to an inline fuse into this module. So if you don't have one, run to the store, get an inline fuse, and this says it is a 12 volt 30 amp module. So when you go to AutoZone Advance, probably Walmart would have it, get an inline fuse that has at least a 30 amp circuit into it. Now I've grabbed a little small battery just for demonstration purposes so you can see what's going to happen here. On your relay block, terminal number 30 here, you're going to come out of your positive on your battery into number 30. You're going to come out of the bottom, or the opposite side, which is 87. You're going to go into the positive side of your air horn. The negative side of the air horn will get grounded to the chassis, or will get ran back to the battery, depending on our situation, or whether you've got a good ground up front, or whether you want to run it straight back to the battery. Now, the thing that some people get confused about is how the horn works. The horn basically works off of a positive and a negative connection. You've got 12 volt in and a ground. So this works kind of like a doorbell. When you push the button on your horn, what happens is basically you close these 2 circuits and you send 12 volts into the horn, which makes the noise. So essentially what's happened, this is grounded all the time. When you send the power down the horn, you get a beep beep sound. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to send power and ground into here. And what happens is when you push the button, you're creating that same circuit. You're grounding this out, but instead of sending power down to our little beep beep, we're going to send it down to our compressor, which is going to give us an air horn sound. So what we're going to do is we're going to unplug our positive and our negative wires. We're going to make jumpers going back up to the relay module, or down to the relay module, depending on your situation. Number 86 which is, if you're looking at this terminal, it's kind of really weird the way they've got this laid out. They've kind of got it laid out like this, so I'm going to show you like this. 86 is your positive. So I'll put that on there. Now back to your relay. 86 is the positive, so I'm going to put 86 on here. 85 is the ground. Now, this can be either grounded to the chassis, because it's coming off your switch, or from your old horn, or it can be grounded to the battery also. So long as you get a ground there, it's not going to matter where you get the ground from. If you take a voltmeter and you ohm these two, this is 12 volts across. So basically, if we send power onto this with this wire, I've got 12 volts coming out of here right now. As soon as I ground this, what happens is inside the relay will close, send power down this circuit, and engage the air horn. So we've got power on here. As soon as we turn that off, we've got an air horn. So essentially what we've done is we've replaced our button with this. But you're going to get power from your key on. This is key on. This is constant to keep the relay powered up, so it'll have enough power to run down to your horn. And this is your ground wire. Again, can be grounded to the chassis, can be grounded to the battery. As long as you get a good ground on here, that's what you need. And before I unhook this, I went ahead and decided to make it a little bit easier on myself. I went ahead and put 85, 87, 86, and 30 on the block. That way when I get up underneath of the seat, or where I'm going to mount this, I'll be able to see my wires a little bit easier. I don't have to guess where I'm going to go. So again, just to cover it, 30 is your positive coming from your battery. That's a positive, constant, hot. 86, key on from your horn switch. 85, ground from your horn switch. 87, positive going out to the air horn. And again, the negative on the air horn can be brought back to the battery or grounded to the chassis. As long as you get a good ground, not going to matter. The main thing you're doing is when you're closing this circuit is you're sending power down number 87. That's what's starting your horn, making your horn beep. Last thing I did figure out, the piece that goes up in here for the air, you can run a fresh air line because it sucks in the air through here. The little piece of plastic or hose that came with it with the little gasket is actually a filter. If you want to run this up under the motorcycle where it would be dry all the time, you can do that. If you've got to put this somewhere where you're going to get water or moisture in it, you may want to hook the hose up to it and run it up under the seat so it sucks fresh air in. You're not sucking water into this. I'm most likely going to mount this up under my fairing. It is so loud, it's not going to matter whether it's on the outside of the motorcycle, side of the motorcycle. No matter where you put this on the motorcycle, you're going to hear it. So if I do mount it up under my fairing, I'm going to be completely dry. My compressor should last for years. If you put this down low, again, you don't want water sucking up through your compressor hole. That was the basic wiring of the Nautilus Stebel air horn. You've heard me mention a lot about installing this on a motorcycle. I've got another video on my YouTube channel where I'm putting this on a Kawasaki Vulcan VN 1700. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully this helps you out a lot. The other videos I've found online have been quite confusing. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them below. And again, please like and subscribe.